Welcome back, strange crew. You are tuned into another trip through life's deep cuts. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Hey, you're listening to volume 132 of the Strange Grooves podcast. I'm Sharice Hudson.
I'm Cait Milbury.
Welcome back.
How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great week. It's Wednesday. It's recording time, and we're super pumped. On the last episode, you heard all about our trip to California with Pamela DeBar, and guess what? We're going back. So stay tuned for more information. Right? We're doing that, hey, stay tuned for more info while it drops.
Date TBD.
Yeah. The trip was really great, and that's obviously, we've been super busy. You might see we've been doing some events, some different shows. We've been on the move. We've been going to concerts. It's been great. So we just wanted to jump on, say hello, see how everybody's doing. So, yeah.
We do have a special public service announcement to the crew.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah.
Speaking of shows and things we've been doing, coming up,
Motherhood Blessed live podcast.
there you go. We're doing our first live show. Yay. Very exciting. It's something that I know, Cait, you and I have been dreaming of and thinking about for a while.
We've been trying.
And this perfect opportunity arises May 17th at the St. John Arts Center.
And guess what? It's an early show.
Of course, it would be an early show. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. Could you imagine?
At 7:00.
You imagine us recording at like 11 p.m.?
I mean, yeah, depending on the event.
I'd be in my jams.
Yeah,
Like,
depending on the event, right? So,
yeah.
And speaking of event rights, you can actually get your tickets on Eventbrite.
Yes. We'll share the link in the blog and in the show description if you want to grab yours. So yeah, the night will kick off at 7:30 with a live podcast recording.
Yeah, get there at 7.
Yes, we'll be chatting with Motherhood. Going to be a great conversation. Can't wait to hear about all their stuff.
It is an all ages show. There is only 80 tickets being sold.
Super exclusive.
I'd say there's maybe a third or so left at this point. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, you should get it now. Don't wait to get it at the door. Hopefully we'll be doing these more regularly. But we want to make sure that, have a good time, have some nibblies, check out the show. Motherhood is just getting back from like a major month-long tour. I'm pretty sure Penny said they did 28 different dates and just coming back from Texas South by Southwest. So really excited to chat with them. We're just really excited. We have exclusive merch with Motherhood for the first time.
It looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt Shields at Pristine. Who you likely all know is just phenomenal designer, phenomenal human being, just what he does for the city, outfitting everyone, just making everybody look cool. And, I really appreciate what he's conjured up in a small time. So I really do appreciate it. So shout out to Matt Shields and Pristine. We really do appreciate you. Shout out to Motherhood and Blessed. We can't wait to party with you. So that should be a really good time. So yes, all ages starts at 7. All ages tickets are $10, and then regular adult tickets are only $15.
Hell yeah. What a steal.
What can I say? We're trying here. We're doing our best.
Trying.
And we just got back from going to IHOP and see Kim Mitchell, our new bud.
That was so fun.
It's Sharice and I we teenager versions of us never ever would have thought that. I don't know if I ever would have thought I would have had a real partner in crime that really enjoyed doing the same kind of work and enjoying literally loving music and not being able to play it as much as we do. And I think we're both very close to our dads and, our parents respectively, but that love of music and, just being able to go see a lot of the bands that my dad made me listen to growing up is really full circle when my dad's like, have a good good concert, hun. Shout out to Pete Milbury if you're watching.
Shout out, Pete.
You know, who's dropping facts like Kim Mitchell was the first concert at Casino New Brunswick and just things like that. Like, of course, we'd love if he came with us to every single show, but, you know, I'm going to try to bring him up to the Mavericks. So if you're listening to this, Dad, June 10th, I texted it to you. But yeah, it is really, really like full circle. And to be watching Kim Mitchell, be watching Loverboy, to meet Kim Mitchell after, now to be, you know, but like it is really full circle. And, you know, Sharice and I, we really love doing this show. And you're likely going to hear a lot more from us. Because things are really, I think we got the groove now. And It's all really thanks to anyone right now who's listening or watching our current production of the show. We have people who have been with us since the very first episode.
Right.
We have people that we've never met before that listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's
unreal.
Yeah. So shout out to all you guys listening to the show. And if you can make it to the Motherhood show, check it out. There's a show happening the week before as well. So lots happening at the St. John Arts Center. Mm-hmm. Just lots happening in the province right now, honestly. Like I saw today, there was Jimmy Swift and Grand Theft Bus announced.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I saw you send me the calendar
we
invite.
Got tickets.
I was like, okay, sweet.
You know, we got the Mavericks coming up June 10th. We've got Matt Mays in August. We're going back out to California. Like there's a lot of really
cool things happening.
And it's just, you know, when you connect with people who also love sharing their love of music, you end up being able to share a lot of resources and opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that was something that, you know, we've always sought out to try to do for others as well. And we really appreciate everybody, you know, who's part of the show. And periodically throughout the show, we're actually going to be giving thanks to our producers. So I'd like to take just a moment to unroll a part of the scroll.
The scroll.
Okay, just a part. You guys have to listen to the rest. And in no particular order either.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay. Matt Letson, Cousin Matthew, you're an OG. We effing love you. Thank you so much for your help and always supporting our show.
We're going to do, what do we should do next? Colin Walshute's another OG.
OG supporter. Major shout out. Michael Hawkins.
Another, we have to have him on the show.
I know.
He's played our birthday parties.
We're all good buds, but you know, the gold will wait, right?
It's going to be, everything happens when it's supposed to.
And that's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Another OG, James Mullinger.
Yes,
big thank you to him. He's been very busy, multiple shows, new book.
Just slaying life.
Yeah, loving that. Who else we got, Trace?
So we have Corey McGill. Sorry, I like my Moosehead lime and salt chelada went down the wrong pipe.
Okay.
So we have Corey McGill of McGill's. We love you. Thank you.
Chuck Healy.
Mary Roach.
And Glenn Hicks at U Station. Thank you so much for your help in producing the show. One of the reasons that we wanted to record Volume 132 is to talk about things that sometimes grind our gears at concerts, some things that make us go woo at concerts, but mostly kind of things that give us the ick or things that maybe we're just, I don't know, maybe our etiquette is just a little bit different, but I don't know. So here's where it starts. You know, I remember being 14, 15, 16, and a lot of the bands that I liked never really came here. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the bands that were local, that were older than me, did play here. Yeah. And, you know, we've talked about this before, but like Linda Pelche, Jill Langtang, Shelley Brown, we've had a lot of them on the show. But the thing is that they were very pivotal in me going to a lot of those shows. Mm-hmm. And, you know, expressing that love of music. And I always felt that I tried to do the least possible to bring heat upon myself. I was polite. I flew under the radar, and I never tried to cause any trouble. And I feel like sometimes it's part of the reason why I don't go out anymore. And as I'm getting older, that's why it's funny when we laugh about it being, whether it's an all ages show or that it's early, you try to mitigate some of the things that might play a foul part in your experience, which is funny. But that's kind of what makes a good event curator and a good experience. Mm-hmm. So Sharice and I've kind of put together this, like, you know,
based on true stories of recent events.
Well, we used to joke how, young ladies or all ladies, everybody, we get dressed up, and then essentially people are just farting on your fake eyelashes, which isn't very nice.
Or spilling beer on your Vans.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, and I'm just saying, like, I know safety, but like, why are we giving massive cups without a cover to people who are inebriated
In the can, yeah.
and doing this when they do the one up in the air and they're like, yes, and the beer spills all over everybody in the crowd.
Yep. It's or just people don't, like, I get the safety, I know there's a reason for it, but people also, and again, inebriation, but watch, like, mind your space,
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Don't. So,
am I touching you?
So Cait almost knocked someone out a few weeks back in a show in Nova Scotia. I don't know, Cait, I'll leave that. Do you want to share that story? I think it needs to be told.
Listen, if this comes back to haunt me, it is what it is.
No, man.
But here's what's up.
Bring it up.
I think, when you go to any kind of show and people are excited, and whether drinking's involved or not, it definitely plays a key part. Sometimes I think it's wild that we just drink. I don't drink anymore, but that people drink things that make them go, woo. And it's okay to have. Woo. But I mean, like, people go out to black out in their 30s and 40s now. That's crazy to me. Anyways, no shame, but just saying, we're out there. And we're in the crowd and we're having a time. And like, sometimes when people will kind of like come up and they bang into you by mistake, no big deal. And you go, hey girl, like, having a good time, like, woo. And maybe you're having terrible anxiety. Maybe you've had a really bad day. Maybe you have people in your family that are like, there's so many different outliers going on. It takes people sometimes a lot to get out, to go to those things.
Yep.
So you never know what's going on, right? And again, everyone's reaction can be different to something. And I think this is part of what it was for me.
Yeah.
Is that I was very much going through a lot just in my head, thinking about a lot. I was in a different place. I'm checking out my surroundings, and having someone like bump into me repeatedly and spill their beer on me. And then, enough to the point where it jarred us both and someone else.
Yeah.
It was like mangled. It wasn't like an accident. It was like, and to the point where I, just turned around and was like, oh, because like, it hurt at this point. It wasn't normal. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And kind of when I was like, oh, like, chill, like sort yourself out, it was like immediately, oh, you want me to leave you alone? What about, don't want me to touch you? And I just had to, I had to just kind of black out in my own way.
And I was looking I was looking over being like, what's going on? Like, is she trying to get your attention or something? Because I was like, watching the show, and then I realized, like, she was like, what about that? And then she's like, and then you looked over at me being like, I'm like, am I gonna? And I think you turned around at one point being like, don't like touch me, or like,
oh yeah, I did say that. I said, don't touch me.
Yeah, which is fair. Like, don't touch me. And I was like, am I gonna have to like jump in between or something? Like at that point,
well, it's just like, I just think that people need to be, and here's the thing. I think that this is where it comes from. We in society are dealing with so many different outliers and pillars and variables now, and people have. It's not that we're woke or super set. It could be those things, but I think people just have a lot of layers, and now we're starting to actually look at them instead of just looking at them as so basic, right? And here's the thing: when you go out to those things, if I had reacted, I likely would have been the one that had been removed from our friend's show.
Yeah.
If they were like, we saw a drunk man haul his girlfriend in, and she literally fell and almost broke her ankle from him dragging. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff that I would expect from like a 19 or 20
But
year
this man was like in his 40s or 50s. And then like people were like, and he was just like whacking around like an inflatable tube man. And then people were like, dude, chill out. And then like, he's like looking around being like, what?
So here's the thing. This is where I wonder. It's like, for me, like, we, in our life, we never went through a global pandemic. And then we did.
Yeah.
And there was a point where we weren't even allowed to see each other for a very long time, And now everything is just, I guess, somewhat to how things were. But that being said, I always thought that there would be a deeper level of understanding and consideration for space, just health, because you don't know you never know what someone is combating or dealing with, or maybe they haven't been able to see their family because they're still ill or, being isolated. Mm-hmm. And I thought that this would actually come over into shows and things like that. And people would actually be more courteous and have more manners. But I'm seeing like when we go to restaurants, like fast food, there's like 16 different lines now. And people are literally plugged in every crevice. It's almost crazier now, I find, at shows and at these places. And again, this isn't a naggy podcast. It's just these things that we're both noticing that I find it interesting. And I think that people need to understand that, moderation.
Yeah. Like there's a certain amount of like, bumping into each other or, accidentally, or closeness that you expect.
Like if you're at a movie theater and you're like, oh, you'd be like, oh my God. You'd be like, I'm so sorry, right? But if you go into the movie theater and you've had 4 White Claws and you're constantly being, that's being douchey.
Manage your claws.
Right? And so that's kind of the same thing. It's like when you're at shows, like that was a benefit show. Mm-hmm. And so the next thing I want to sort of bring up, so I've been to a lot of big festivals, a lot of outdoor festivals. I've been to a lot of like really good shows where I've watched people just like when stuff's hitting the ground, it's being picked up. Everybody around is also picking things up because it's like they don't want to be in a place at the end where it's not a nice place to take a pic of a good memory. So when we went to Rockfest, there was one year that there was just like the whole grounds were just beer cans. And when you thought about taking a picture of that, it wasn't something like, oh, hell yeah. Like we pretty much just obliterated a field. Do you know what I mean? And that's somebody else's property. Hopefully it grows back by next year when we come back to party. And that's kind of the thing, like don't bite the hand that feeds you. So a lot of these venues now that have, evolved, went through guidelines, stayed open, had to go through the ringer. Mm-hmm. We were watching people on carpeted floor just throw down full cans of beer. And this has been at multiple locations. This has been at concert venues, at carpeted, like a trade and convention center. This has been at tiny restaurants. And it's like the thing you're combated with was, oh, well, I don't want to lose my spot in the front of the stage. Oh, and it just comes down to, here's the thing, when you're doing that, I'm sorry, but like I have weak ass ankles. I've broken them 3 or 4 times each. I don't want to roll my ankle on a beer can.
Yeah.
From a liability perspective. Also, usually when you're going to these shows, it's your friends or volunteers or people that that work in the industry that are there to keep those venues clean and manage them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they had full on, it
was like a little Zamboni.
It was a Zamboni, and they were very quick to pick it all up. But I just thought it was kind of a bit sad that you're just seeing people and they had tons of garbage like receptacles and like recycling areas, and like the bar was beautiful. It's a beautiful venue, and it was just a bit disheartening to see people just so like they go from kind of corporate networking, like they're full to like literally just dumping beer on each other. And I don't really remember that when I was like underage getting into places, or even like
of like
the last 10
in my
years.
20s, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there were always some mangled situations.
Always.
But yeah, I found that kind of funny. And then again, so here's another one. We were just at the Kim Mitchell show, we were like just joking around because obviously New Brunswickers were known to get rowdy. Mm-hmm. But we found it funny because during All We Are, it's like the second to last song. People are like doing their thing, and like same sort of deal. There's like a little bit of like a kerfuffle, and all of a sudden like 2 guys start fighting. They're brawling in the middle, and it's just like
people are getting pushed, and we're like, move it back, and we're like, sorry, and people like we're running into her like, what the hell? And I'm like, someone's fighting, I'm sorry.
And here's the thing, it's like if you're watching, you paid $100 to go see like a really great guitar player and like a great band.
Was it worth it?
Who cares if somebody bumps into you? And you could say, Cait, you almost no.
She didn't though. That's the thing.
No, and it's not even just that. It's trying to be courteous and being able to be like, hey, oh, are you okay? Okay, just. And I did that 5 or 6 times before it was just to the point where it was combated with rudeness and defensiveness, right? Yep. So, and those things happen. But I just think that, we should be really, really grateful for the ability to see each other and to hang out and to go to shows and to have, our favorite bands and musicians out there being able to play shows.
Yeah.
So
So why don't we talk about some concert yays? We talked about concert icks.
Yes.
And I have one I'd like to share.
Yes.
And this is Tara. Tara and I acknowledged it. So at the Kim Mitchell show, so during break, as you know, notoriously, the line for the ladies' washroom is notoriously longer than the men's for obvious reasons.
Yep.
Shout out to just like women, just like having like just it was so in and out. Like everyone was just it was so.
It's true.
We don't like, I saw like women helping each other out with like, you know, feminine hygiene products. Someone like had a situation. It was just so cool. Like, and we were just like, yep, like there was no diddly dallying. There was no, it was like a well-oiled machine.
Well-oiled machine, yeah.
It was so, I was like, man, this is nice. So shout out to that being courteous. It's always, of course, it's a women doing. Keeping it together. But yeah, so that was one. That was cool to see.
Yeah, and we, you know, obviously, like, I always find a lot of times some of the most fun is like before and after the show. So like where we usually go to hang out before is usually like a little diner. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's always a diner, it seems.
It's always a diner.
Because I can actually eat there. And I'm a very picky IBS hoe. So like it is what it is, right?
Sure, yeah.
But we went to IHOP for the Kim Mitchell show, and that was super epic. We had a great time. 4 kinds of syrup. Come on.
Oh, man. IHOP coming to Moncton, changing, revitalizing, injecting funds into the New Brunswick economy.
I thought you were going to say like injecting syrup into my veins, but okay.
Well, both that too.
But yes, both. I was just like, yeah, syrup for some reason.
The hostess, our waitress was amazing, but our hostess when we were leaving, shout out, what was her name? Hannah. Shout out to Hannah at the IHOP in Moncton for taking a really cool photo of the 3 of us.
I'll put it up here.
Yes, it was great. She got the angles. She said, you know, she complimented our outfits. And I'm like, this is what it's all about. Sisterhood.
You give some, you get some.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, I think those are some of probably like, you know, our favorite moments. And I think just being able to connect with the people that we really do, like find appreciation and inspiration. And it's really great and full circle for us to be able to love and enjoy and appreciate music, and then be able to like see it live and be able to like bring you guys the show. And we'd love to hear more about, you know, some of the things you'd like to hear. Like we're going to be doing a series where we go through like bands and like records that we have.
Mm-hmm. Bringing that back. That's old school.
We have the Chill Teens will be doing an episode with us next week. Yeah. They have a show coming up, I believe at the end of the month at McGill's.
Fun.
We have... Yeah, there's quite a bit of new like interviews coming up as well. So like if you're not subscribed on our YouTube channel, I've definitely checked that out because we're going a little bit harder on video. Of course, you can always find the old radio person in me. Also subscribe on subscribe to us everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes. And if you haven't and you want to know, because I'm not going to say it often anymore. But if you would like to become a producer of the show, it's really easy. You just go to our website. There's a spot. You can click a button. It'll say support our show. Do that. And or you can do it on PayPal. You can also do it through our Patreon. If you just go to patreon.com/strangegrooves, it's there. There's tiers there. You can support the show. Whether you're a person, artist, small business, big corporation, whoever, for as little as $2 a month up towards of whatever custom pledge you want, you can support the show. We'd really appreciate it. And we'd like to give the rest of our producers for the month a shout out because, again, we can't do the show without you guys. And we wouldn't want to. So
exactly. All right. Where did we leave off?
Brent Harris, thank you so much.
St. John Tool Library, the great spot. Do so much for the community. So thank you for your ongoing support. Chuck Healy?
Yeah.
Did we do Chuck Healy already?
Yep. Brennan Parker.
Jennifer Irving.
Greg Hemmings.
John Adam Ian.
And Dee Dee Keel.
Dee Dee Keel.
Woo! We love you. Thank you guys so much for your pledge to the show. Again, you can get involved super easy. And if you'd like to, you know, maybe pitch to be on the show, or maybe you have a band or a cool record collector or somebody that maybe hasn't been on our radar, we'd love to hear about it. Send us an email, strangegrooves@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, Sharice and I, we're getting really, really excited for, you know, the next couple of months. And you might notice the format of how things have been. They might change up only slightly.
We have to always evolve. We've been doing it for 5 years. We got to change things up once in a while, right?
But, you know, we're getting advice from the pros now. We're figuring things out. We're traveling a little bit more. We've got some really great events planned. Some of the stuff we're not actually allowed to talk about. So that's the tea on that. But that's what happens, right? And we're really, really excited. And we just want to say thank you to everybody who helps us, you know, have the momentum and keep doing the show. We love doing it together, but knowing that we're making a difference and that you guys also enjoy it, we really do appreciate that in a big way. And it makes a giant impact in both of our lives. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from us on the socials. And again, if there's anything specific you would like to hear us cover, or a certain artist, band, maybe you want to send us to a show or out to a hotel to cover a concert, hit us up.
Let us know.
Our 2023 season is getting pretty hectic. So if that's something that you're interested in, you'll have to reach out sooner than later.
Call now.
Otherwise, we're looking at 2024. So really pumped, you guys, and just want to say thank you for tuning into this episode.
And until next time,
Keep it strange.
If you've enjoyed this, then you have to hit strangegrooves.com for more amazing content. To support this podcast and music community, go to patreon.com/strangegrooves. As always, keep it strange.